Roy was aching to sneak over to the junkyard and visit Mullifingers. He wanted to find out what had happened last night at the Mother Paul's property. The problem was Roy's mother. She invoked the Sunday rule as soon as he returned from the skateboard park, and a family outing was launched. Making good his promise, Roy's father took them out the Tamiyami Trail to an Indian tourist shop that offered airboat trips throughout the Everglades. Roy ended up having a great time, even though the noise was so loud it hurt his eardrums. The tall Seminole who was driving the airboat wore a straw cowboy hat. He said the engine was the same type used on small airplanes. The rush of wind made Roy's eyes water as the flat-bottomed boat whisked across the sawgrass flats and weaved through the narrow, winding creeks. It was cooler than a roller coaster. Along the way, they stopped to look at snakes, bullfrogs, chameleons, raccoons, opossums, turtles, ducks, herons, two bald eagles, an otter, and, by Roy's count, 19 alligators. His father got most of the action on video, while his mother took pictures with their new digital camera. Although the airboat was very fast, the ride across the shallows was like gliding on silk. Again, Roy was astounded by the immense flatness of the terrain, the lush horizons, and the exotic abundance of life. Once he got away from all the jillions of people, Florida was just as wild as Montana. That night, lying in bed, Roy felt a stronger connection to Mullifingers and a better understanding of the boys' private crusade against the Pancake House. It wasn't just about the owls, it was about everything. All the birds and animals, all the wild places that were in danger of being wiped out. No wonder the kid was mad, Roy thought, and no wonder he was so determined. When Roy's parents came in to say goodnight, he told them he'd never forget their trip to the Everglades, which was the truth. His mom and his dad were still his best friends, and they could still be fun to hang out with. Roy knew it wasn't easy on them, packing up and moving all the time. The Eberhards were a team, and they stuck together. While we were gone, Officer Linko left a message on the answering machine, Roy's father said. Last night, he arrested a suspect for the vandalism of the construction site. Roy didn't say a word. Don't worry, Mr. Eberhard said. It wasn't the young man you told me about, the one who ran away from the hospital. It was a Matherson boy, Miss Eberhard cut excitedly. The one who attacked you on the bus, and he tried to convince the police he was you. Roy couldn't pretend not to know. Garrett told me all about it, he admitted. Really? Garrett must have an inside source, Roy's father remarked. The best, said Roy. What else did the policeman's message say? That's about it. I got the impression he wanted me to ask you if you knew anything about what happened. Me? Roy said. Oh, that's ridiculous, his mother interjected. How would Roy know what a hoodlum like Dana Matheson was up to? Roy's mouth was as dry as chalk. As close as he felt to his parents, he was prepared to tell them that he'd mooned Dana, purposely lured him toward the Mother Paul's property, and then made up a story about a stash of cigarettes inside the trailer. It's certainly a strange coincidence, Mr. Everhart was saying. Two different kids targeting the same location? Is it possible the Matherson boy hooked up with their friend, Beatrice's stepbrother? No way, Roy interjected firmly. Dana does not care about the owls. He doesn't care about anything but himself. Of course he doesn't, Roy's mother said. As his parents were shutting the bedroom door behind him, Roy said, Hey, Dad. Yes? Remember how you said the pancake people could do whatever they wanted on that land and they had all the permits and stuff? That's right. How do I check about something like that? Roy asked. You know, just to be sure if it's all legal. I suppose you called the building department in City Hall. The building department answered. Sorry, the building department. Okay, thanks. After the door closed, Roy heard his parents talking softly in the hallway. He couldn't make out what they were saying, so he pulled the covers up to his neck and rolled over. Right away, he began drifting off. Before long, someone whispered his name. Roy assumed he was already dreaming. Then he heard it again, and all this time the voice seemed to be so really set up. The only sound in the bedroom was his own breathing. Great, Roy said. Now I'm massaging things. Now I'm imagining things. He leaned back in the pillow and blinked at the ceiling. Roy? He went rigid on the covers. Roy, don't freak out. That's exactly what he felt like doing. The voice was coming from under his bed. Roy, it's me. Me who? Roy's breath came in rapid bursts and his heart pounded like a bass drum. He could feel the presence of the other person beneath in the darkness, under the mattress. Me! Beatrice! Chill out, man. What are you doing here? Shh! Not so loud! Roy heard her slide out from underneath the bed. Quietly, she stood up and moved to the window. There was just enough moon in the sky to light up her curly blonde hair and cast a reflection in her glasses. How'd you get in our house? Roy struggled to keep his voice low, but he was too rattled. How long have you been hiding here? All afternoon. Beatrice replied. While you guys are gone. You broke in? Relax, cowgirl. I didn't bust in any windows or anything. The sliding door to the front porch just popped right off the track. That's all they do, Beatrice said matter of factly. Roy hopped out from under the sheets, locked the door, and switched on his desk lamp. Are you completely wacko? He snapped at her. Did somebody kick you in the head at soccer practice or what? I'm sorry about this. I told 2 mil. I'm sorry about this, I really am, Beatrice said. It's just, things are kind of hairy at home. I didn't know where else to go. Oh, Royce was instantly sorry he lost his temper. Was it Lana? Beatrice nodded gloomily. I guess she fell up a room or something. That really sucks. Yeah, her and my dad got in a huge fight. I mean, huge. She threw a clock radio at his head, and so he beat her with a mango. Roy had always thought that Beatrice wasn't afraid of anything, but she didn't look so fearless now. He felt bad for her. It was hard to imagine living in a house where the girls behaved so idiotically. You can stay here tonight, he offered. For real? As long as my parents don't find out. Roy, you're pretty cool, Beatrice said. He grinned. Thanks for calling me Roy. Thanks for letting me crash here. You take the bed, he said. I'll sleep on the floor. No way, Jose. Roy didn't argue. He gave Beatrice a pillow and a blanket, and she stretched out happily on the carpet. He turned off the light and said goodnight. Then remembered to ask her something he meant to ask her. Hey, did you see Fingers today? Maybe. Well, he told me he had something planned for last night. He's always got something planned. Yeah, but this stuff can't go on forever, Roy said. Sooner or later, he's going to get caught. I believe he's smart enough to know that. Then we've got to do something. Like what? Beatrice asked faintly. She was fading towards sleep. You can't stop him, Roy. He's too darn thick-headed. Then, I guess we got to join him. Excuse me? Good night, Beatrice.